Today I fucked up by trusting my scale and seeing God. So this actually happened a few years ago. I, at the time 19, decided I wanted to do a fun science experiment and grow my own magic mushrooms. All in all, it was a good time, and 4 months later I had a couple of ounces of dried mushrooms to work with. I looked around for what the best dose would be and I went with 2.5 grams. The only scale we had at my house was a cheap food scale that was going on 10 years old. I was having a hard time getting it to work right, but I decided to do what any broke teenager would and use it anyways. After about 20 minutes of fiddling, I got it to stabilize on 3 grams. It seemed like a bit of a big pile, but I figured I should trust the scale, so down the hatches it went. I washed it down with a joint and after about half an hour I was feeling pretty good. Everything was nice and squiggly, and if it had stayed like that I would have had a great time. It did not stay like that, to say the least. Hallucinations got worse and worse, dragons started to crawl out of the carpet, and I somehow ended up naked in the woods during a thunderstorm. Saw God, ego death, the whole hullabaloo. I guess this is why you are supposed to have a trip guide the first time, but c'est la vie. Finally managed to stumble my way home and go comatose in bed. Took like 3 days for the peripheries of my vision to stop vibrating around. So now on to the FU. I was talking to a co-worker a couple of days later, and since he had done mushrooms before we got onto the topic, he thought that it was a bit strange that I had that strong of a reaction. He asked how much I took and I motioned how big the pile was, and he immediately started to laugh. Apparently, I am terrible at guessing weight because the pile was way too big for 3 grams. I grabbed a new, accurate, scale on my way home from work and decided to test the accuracy of my old scale. Turns out the old scale was way more off than I thought. What was supposed to be 3 grams was actually over 10 grams. Way over a beginner dose, to say the least. So learn from my mistake. If you are going to do drugs, make absolutely sure that you are getting your doses right. Still would give the experience a 6/10 because it was eye-opening, if not exactly what I would call pleasant. Too long didn't read. Inaccurate scales plus magic mushrooms equals an unpleasant meeting with God. Remember, you can always take more, but you can never take less. I once ate 15 grams intentionally to change myself. Cannot even imagine doing that for my first time by accident. Grimacing face. Spent that whole night time traveling and talking with my dead relatives. It was pretty cathartic, but very exhausting. Kept snapping out of whatever dimension I was in at the time cause I was terrified I was going to go to the bathroom on myself by accident. I was very relaxed. Embarrassed smiley face. I know exactly what you are talking about, haha. Honestly, the thing that bothered me the most was the auditory hallucinations. For some reason, there was an incessant buzzing that got louder and louder over the course of the trip. If I do them again, I definitely will be going with a lower dose to see if that is a better overall experience. A nickel weighs 5 grams. Use one to check your scales periodically for calibration. You're welcome. Lol. I wish I was smart enough to try that, lol. Hero dose of shrooms first time alamau. I'm dead. I can't imagine how that felt. Not exactly what I would call a fun time, but an eye-opening one, to say the least. Still, until recently I didn't have any desire to do them again. At least I can vouch that they definitely are not addictive, haha. Hey op, hope you don't mind I crossed this to r/unklebens. NP haha. Today I fucked up by putting a raw egg in my pocket and then forgetting about it. So a few years back, I befriended a pair of wild crows. Honestly, this friendship is rather one-sided, in that I feed them things like cheese, scraps of baked chicken, corn, duck feed. Actually, they steal this, but that's another story. Goldfish crackers, and eggs, both hard-boiled and occasionally raw. What do I get in return? Well, other than feeling like I'm constantly in one of those cool bird shows zoos put on where birds fly low overhead and come when called, nothing. Nada, zip, no cool shiny trinkets or gifts crows allegedly will give people they like. I guess I'm simply a walking food dispenser to them. Oh, and they introduce me to their fledglings each year, so I guess I should be honored that future generations will also also come to know me as the human who gives out food just because. Anyways, although I'll get up to 4 crows at a time demanding food, there are 2 in particular who I've literally known for years. I call them Sunny and Starla. I honestly don't know which one is the male, and which is the female, but I do know that Sunny is bigger, bolder, and gets very demanding during the spring when it's nesting time. Sunny will literally perch on the roof of my car and stare in at me as I'm buckling my kid in each morning. Being a clever bird, Sunny has realized that the car is a jackpot of goldfish crackers, and so it's become accustomed to pay my bird tax by carefully placing small piles of goldfish crackers on the nearby garden fence every time I come so much as within 6 feet of my car. If I don't, I pay the wrath of an angry crow, with what I can only call a crow tantrum. Pink yelling, low flying swoops, and I swear that bird makes it a point of showing off its sharp beak when looking in at me through the car window. To say I'm slightly scared of Sunny is an understatement. Anyways, this morning, after paying the bird tax twice, I was outside repotting some plants. Who flies into the backyard and starts screaming at me from the branch overhead? Sunny. Afraid I'll get intentionally pooped on if I don't pay up yet again, I reassure Sunny I hear him slash her. But instead of going to the car to get goldfish crackers, I decide to opt for a healthier snack. I mean, it's nesting season and what mommy and daddy birds eat are what the babies eat, so I always try providing more nutritional items during this time. So I went inside, grabbed a raw egg that was already slightly cracked, and went back outside to present my offering to my crow overlord. Unfortunately, I wasn't fast enough, and Sunny had already flown away. Knowing Sunny would be back, I placed the egg on the ground next to me and went back to repotting plants. Time passed and Sunny didn't return, so I cleaned up my tools and started calling for Sunny. For once, Sunny apparently decided to be a wild bird and not answer my call, so I slipped the egg into my jacket pocket and started doing other outside chores, and somehow completely forgot about the raw egg in my jacket pocket. Nearly half an hour passed before Sunny decided to return, just as I decided to start weeding. As I knelt down to get one of the first weeds, I heard a crack in my pocket. Crap. Slimy egg in had oozed out of my pocket and onto my leg as Sunny watched overhead from the power line. I'm still not sure if Sunny was thinking that's what you get for not paying the bird tax earlier, or wow, you humans are terrible at laying eggs, but I'm sure it was at least mildly amusing to watch. In the end, I took off my jacket and did my best to empty out the remaining contents of my pocket. As I trudged inside to clean up, Sunny swooped down and started chowing down on the pile of broken eggshell and scrambled innards. At least he or she got a dinner and a show, right? Too long didn't read. To appease a wild crow, I put a raw egg in my pocket with the intention of giving it to said bird the next time I saw it. Proceeded to forget about the egg and cracked it all over myself. Edit. Wow. Thanks for the awards and awesome comments, everyone. Below are 2 pictures of Sunny as payment of my crow tax, pet tax. Sunny_Keogu_Sheen. Sunny hitching a ride. I misread the entire first paragraph as cows instead of crows. Didn't realize something was wrong until you mentioned them perching on your car. Definitely made the story amusing in a different sort of way lol. LOL. That would be scary having a cow shake me down every morning for treats. Reminds me of Lola the seagull who I used to feed croissants to every morning on the roof of my office building. After I stopped working there my colleagues took over. But Lola stopped coming when she wasn't given croissants. Her name was Lola, she was a seagull. I've been trying to befriend our local murder but I can't seem to get a connection to them. Just Google murder, local friends. Freshman year of high school we had to bring an egg in for biology. Before class me and some friends are playing hacky sack and I decided for some reason it was a good idea to slip my egg into the front pocket of my black jeans. Seconds later I've got egg leaking out of my pocket. I figure it's gross but whatever, I'll live. Then it starts to dry and I realize that it looks like I've blown the biggest load ever in my pants. I quickly called my mom and had her bring me some new pants, and another egg. Today I fucked up by quoting Hitler in a job interview. This happened 3 weeks ago. I am still cringing. I am overseas right now from my home country fielding job offers and doing interviews for jobs that will begin, hopefully, around start of summer when vaccinations will have some effect on COVID rates. I have had about 4 interviews in a row before this 5th one, all with multinationals who have a corporate office in my home country's capital. With the 5th day of interviews, via Zoom and about 7/8 of an hour's time zone difference, I got used to rhythm of each interview. Same questions, same charm. Last interview is with the regional manager of this branch in the capital city. How long? No biggie. Everything's going well until the final question, what quote have you most treasured in your career? Never heard this question but I gave it some thought. I didn't prepare anything for a quote interview question but I came up with a random quote that I had on my mind. Me, work sets you free is my most favorite quote. I believe it was Elon Musk who said this. Interviewer, thanks. I think the quote speaks for itself. Anything you would like to add on? It only took me, born and raised and is Jewish, after the interview and speaking with my mother, also Jewish, that I had inadvertently recalled Adolf Hitler's phrase, best known for appearing on the entrance of the Nazis' Auschwitz concentration camp in Poland. My mother won't and hasn't spoken to me for 9 days now after my inexcusable faux pas and she's starting to think that I'm either a fake Jewish boy or a Nazi sympathizer. In her eyes, both are bad. Too long didn't read, asked for my fave quote in an interview, quoted Hitler, interviewer was phased, I was not, mother won't talk to me. Your mom is being pretty immature about it. So did you get the job? Yup, starting as a camp guard next month. I did something similar. I had an interview and was asked how I balance my work and home life. I said they're equally as important to me, but I like to keep them separate. But equal. I knew it sounded familiar but I didn't know why. Then I googled it after and realized it was about segregation in the US. I was white, interviewer was black. I still turn red when I think about it. It's been a year. You were white? Okay, but accidentally equating Hitler and Musk is very funny. Well, it's better than fat bottom girls they make the rockin' world go round. Freddie Mercury. That'd be gold if it was appended with and I think the late Duke of Edinburgh said it.